Welcome to the Invite Health podcast, where our degreed healthcare professionals are excited to offer you the most important health and wellness information you need to make informed choices about your health. You can learn more about the products discussed in each of these episodes and all that Invite Health has to offer at www.invitehealth.com/podcast. First-time customers can use promo code podcast at checkout for an additional 15% off your first purchase. Let's get started.
Today's episode deals with CBD. People need more clarification on CBD. They have many questions. For instance, is it better taken with food? How much do you actually need? Is it related to marijuana? Is it safe? What is it good for? We're going to answer these questions and many more on today's episode entitled FAQs on CBD, frequently asked questions basically on cannabidiol. So hi, my name is Jerry Hickey. I'm a nutritional pharmacist. I'm also the senior scientific officer over here at Invite Health. Please be sure to subscribe when you listen to our podcasts, and please leave us a review. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health. All of the information on today's episode will be linked in the episode description, or you can visit invitehealth.com/podcast for more information. So let's get going. What is CBD? Well, CBD is the abbreviation for cannabidiol. It's a natural compound found in the hemp plant. That's where they get it from today. There's evidence that it can help treat pain, even arthritic pain, certainly muscle pain and back pain, that it's very good for the skin when you rub it on, and it's helpful for stress and anxiety. Medically, it's used for other things also on prescription, such as children's seizures, but that's another story. We're using much lower potencies we're referring to in this episode. So what's the difference between hemp and marijuana? Well, marijuana had two major ingredients, THC, which gets you high, and CBD or cannabidiol does not get you high, and it has medicinal uses. Now, years ago, they found out that you could separate the ingredients, and they started calling the marijuana one, the one that's used recreationally to get high, and that they can grow the plants separately and have a hemp plant that had the cannabidiol. Now, how do you take it? You take it with food. You'll absorb it a lot better if you take it with food, and you only need 20 milligrams or up to 50 milligrams to help you with pain, to help you with stress, to help you with anxiety. Does it make you high? No. CBD does not make you high. As I said before, years ago they realized that they could separate the ingredients and have a marijuana plant that people use recreationally at concerts, etc. Or you can have the CBD, which does not get you high, that you could use for these indications such as back pain. So it does not get you high. In fact, it can prevent you from getting high. So that's pretty interesting. Is it addictive? No. CBD is absolutely not addictive. Oddly, marijuana could be addictive in about 9% of the people who use it, which struck me as strange when I read that evidence several years ago. So marijuana can be addictive. CBD is not addictive. Is it legal? Yes. 47 states allow CBD. Only Idaho, South Dakota, and Nebraska ban it, but they'll come around. Can CBD help with pain? Now, researchers are doing a great deal of studies at this point for CBD and pain, and they found out that it can be helpful with arthritic pain, such as an arthritic knee. In fact, there's research now showing that in people with HIV, it helps relieve their nerve pain, so they're starting to look at other indications for CBD with nerve pain, such as sciatica, that nerve pain that generally comes out of the spine, like L4, L5, the discs. If they're herniated, they're pressing on the sciatic nerve, and you get that pain running down your gluteus maximus on the side of your legs. It can be very painful. There's also evidence that it may help muscle spasms linked to multiple sclerosis also. I use it frequently in people, creams and ointments and salves, and people with back pain and people with muscle pain and people with arthritic pain, and it's been very helpful for them. Does it help with inflammation? Yeah, the early studies show that CBD helps with inflammation, especially if it's related to muscle pain or arthritis. But they're also researching it now for inflammation in multiple sclerosis, and inflammation in diabetics, and in inflammation even with Alzheimer's disease. Now, is it good for your skin? Yes. A number of dermatologists are using CBD as a skin cream or an ointment or a salve. They found out that it's helpful with acne. It seems to help with the inflammation that leads to breakouts, but also with inflamed skin, rashes, dry skin. It helps protect skin cells from damage. Does it help with stress and anxiety? Yes, it does. It's very interesting. When CBD is helping with pain in the body and below the neck, it goes to CB2 receptor sites. But when it's helping with stress and anxiety, it's going to CB1 receptor sites in the brain. And what they see happening is it seems to release a neurochemical in the brain called anandamide. Now, I've read that anandamide is based on the Sanskrit word for bliss, so it's the bliss hormone. So it kind of breaks up stress and anxiety, and somehow that also relieves pain. Somehow it helps you forget pain, but it really does help with stress and anxiety. I'll give you a little anecdote. I have this little wonderful dog named Charlie. He's got a great soul. He's such a character, but he's deathly afraid of fireworks and thunder and lightning. So last year, I brought home some CBD liquid for dogs, and he's a small dog. I gave him a full dose. It was a thunder and lightning storm. He was shaking. I mean, it's terrible. He was shaking. I gave him the full dose. He fell asleep in 2 minutes. But when he woke up, he wasn't stressed. So the next day, there was another thunder and lightning storm. And I gave him only a half a dose this time. And I could see after several minutes, because liquids are absorbed very quickly, so they work very rapidly. I could see after several minutes he was starting to calm down. He did fall asleep mildly after 15 minutes, but here's the thing. It kind of reprogrammed his brain not to fear thunder and lightning. For weeks after, he wasn't really reacting to the thunder and lightning. He did a little bit, and it was returning. The fear of the thunder and lightning was returning a little bit over time, but he never quite went back to the level of fear he used to have. In fact, that's what they're doing with humans now. They're looking at CBD for things like post-traumatic stress disorder and different fears, and they're seeing if they could deprogram the brain from being fearful of things. So it's very interesting. They are looking at CBD. In the medical world, they're looking at CBD. Can it help with cancer? It seems to help chemotherapy drugs work a little better. Can it help multiple sclerosis, the pain of multiple sclerosis? Does it help with psychosis? And certainly it helps with children's epilepsy. But once again, they're using super high doses. They're using it as a drug, not as something to just help with muscle pain or to help reduce feelings of stress. Is it addictive? Absolutely not. As I mentioned before, marijuana could be slightly addictive. CBD is not addictive. I thought I'd repeat that. And the last thing, are there side effects? No. CBD is unusually safe. I mean, for instance, when little children have certain forms of epilepsy that are refractory to drugs, the drugs don't help them, and they give them CBD, they're giving massive doses. And these kids are quite all right. So the regular amount you would use maybe at night before bed because you're stressed out, or in the morning for pain, or in the morning for stress and anxiety, not an issue. It seems to be extremely safe. So thank you for tuning into the Invite Health Podcast. You can find all of our episodes for free wherever you listen to podcasts or by visiting invitehealth.com/podcast. Please make sure you subscribe. Please leave me a review. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Invite Health. And I hope to see you the next time on another episode of the Invite Health Podcast. And thank you so much for listening.